Protect your home from home. Simple Caravan Insurance, sponsors of the Caravan channel.
When towing a caravan, there's some legal aspects to take into consideration. Speed limits is one. On a single carriage road, which is national speed limit, whereas in a car or a motorcycle, you're allowed to drive at 60 miles an hour. When towing a trailer or caravan, that's now restricted to 50 miles an hour. And on a dual carriageway, that's 60 as opposed to 70. The other restriction within law was a driving licence change in 1997. If you pass your test after 1997, then you are restricted on weight, and that's a gross weight of 3.5 tonnes. So it's the gross weight of the vehicle and the gross weight of the caravan. If it does exceed that 3.5 tonnes, you have to have another category on your licence, which is the B plus E. The B being your car and the E being the trailer. And once you've passed that test, that then allows you to drive most vehicles with a caravan on the back. Advice for first-time caravanners is the most common mistake people make out on the road anyway is they drive too quickly approaching some kind of hazard. When towing a caravan, of course, you've got that additional weight on the back, so any kind of braking needs to be done earlier and more progressively. Good practice style of braking is like if you are approaching any kind of hazard, to get that braking done progressively but within a straight line as well. One of the things you want to try and avoid is braking heavily when the car and the trailer's turning a corner. That can induce a kind of jackknife, but by having it in a straight line and planning ahead, that will just make it so much safer for you. With speed restrictions, there's good reasons for it. Like on a single carriage road, driving at 50 miles an hour as opposed to 60 will ensure that you've got a good balance between the car and the trailer. When you are towing and you're planning where to go, within planning where to go, plan also where you're going to stop and have a break. Don't try and do too much all in one go. And if you do stop for a break, then once you've had your cup of tea, have a quick walk around the caravan as well. Ensure things like the jockey wheel is still within the right place and hasn't started to drop. Have a look at the tyres just to make sure they're still okay, and just the general condition. Also, when towing, there's that feeling that you may be holding up other traffic. Now obviously, yes, you are restricted by law that you are going to drive at a reduced speed. So drive within your own limitations. If you feel that somebody is pushing you to get on further, yes, pay attention to the fact that they are there, but don't let them push you to drive quicker. And when you are driving along, especially on a single carriage road, and you feel that someone's pushing you, again, drive within that speed limit. But also, going around corners, because you're towing a potentially large trailer, that trailer will always take a shortcut. So plan your bends, plan where you're going to position your vehicle, and plan where you can have best view around the corner as well. When you've arrived on site, you found your pitch, you've then got the dreaded reversing, which is a spectator sport for everybody else. Okay, so we've now arrived on site and you found the pitch that you want. But before you start in reversing, which is the dreaded reversing and is a spectator sport, good tip, walk around the site, have a look, make sure there's no obstacles in the way. Sort of things that we're looking for, any children's bikes, particularly even any children about, any potholes in the surface that the caravan wheels might dig down into. Just over here we can see that we've got this electric point. Obviously we don't want to reverse into that. And on this side here we have the hedge. But the ground looks smooth, it looks flat, and everything seems okay. Now we'll go and try the reversing. Okay, so we found our pitch. Everything's nice and secure. Nice level ground. Remember, spectator sport. Take your time. Give them something to watch. Now when you're reversing back, use both mirrors. And because we want the pitch on our right hand side, just put just a little kink in it over onto the right by turning the steering wheel to the left. And now we've got a kink, we're just going to follow it round with the car. That's looking good actually. Quick look over the shoulder. Yep, everything's fine. Let it naturally follow a course. Have a planned route where you want it to go. Remember, good observation's the key here. Nicely round it goes. And that's looking pretty good. Yeah, nice and gently. Quick check again. Remember the length of your caravan. We've got a hedge behind us, so if necessary, don't be afraid to get out and have a look. You can always reverse back for a second time. And there we go. That's exactly where I want it. So, final 3 tips. When you loaded the caravan, equally balanced. When you're driving out on the road, drive to your own limitations. And when reversing, reverse slowly.